Tonight, we welcome one of Marywood's bright young stars to the show. As we transition from the turf field to the track, we hit the ground running. We take you beyond the arch right now. He's a freshman early childhood education major and a cross-country and track athlete from Madison Township, Pennsylvania. Running for North Pocono High School, he won the PIAA District II Championship in both cross-country and the 3,200 meters. He also finished 5th in the state in cross-country. In just his freshman season at Marywood, he was named the Colonial States Athletic Conference Runner of the Year while becoming the first Marywood cross-country runner to be named All-Region and qualify for the NCAA Championships. I sit down with David Haines next.
Remember the first time you picked up a basketball in your hands?
Last season, we only scratched the surface in highlighting some of Marywood's most unique student athletes.
Your passion for rugby. Well, who was your influence?
He is a man with a busy schedule.
I'm your host, Nicolo Manzo, and you're watching the Season 2 of Beyond the Arch.
4, 3, 2, 1.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back. I'm pleased to be joined by Marywood cross-country and track athlete David Haines. David, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'll tell you, David, at the beginning of the semester when we were trying to figure out who we'd have on the show, and John was figuring all that out, but I was sure you were probably going to be one of the people we'd be interviewing. We've heard plenty of good things about you from lots of people.
Thanks.
Okay, well, so we'll get right into it then. We want to talk about David the person. That's what we always say here before David the athlete. So, David, how did you get to Marywood?
Well, I mean, looking for a college, I didn't really like it that much. You know, I was very happy when it's over. But I kind of knew I wanted to stay local, commute. So I mean, had a couple options with the different universities and colleges around. But also knew I wanted to run. So, and I knew Kevin. He's one of my coaches here at Marywood. He's a good friend. So that kind of brought me here too. And also the major. I'm early childhood education major. So that was a big part too.
All right, well, you just mentioned early childhood education, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what that major entails and if you like it so far here at Marywood?
Yeah, I like it. It's K through 4th grade, so it's working with the younger kids.
Yeah, that could be a handful probably.
Yeah, but no, I enjoy working with them. This semester I get to go out and observe. I observe at Western Wayne once a week, so I'm thrown right into it. I can see what it's like, so it's good to see what I'll be doing for my job, make sure I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's important to kind of get in there early. See that when you say so that you kind of.
Definitely.
All right, so we talked a little bit about your decision to come here and why you decided to come here. So let's talk a little bit more about the major now, the early childhood education major. A lot of the athletes we've had on here have been medical majors, and they've said their major's pretty involved. And I think yours is probably involved in a different kind of a way. But how involved is it? Does it ever sort of interfere with your running schedule, or not really?
It hasn't so far. As I get farther into the program, I'll be student teaching and stuff like that. But right now, I've been able to plan my schedule out so that doesn't conflict with running or anything like that. So,
was your choice to come here More academically or more athletically driven, would you say?
First off, like I definitely wanted to like academically. I mean that was most important. I mean if I had to, I could always stop running. But running had a pretty big part too. Yeah, so both, I guess. Yeah.
Kind of just checked all the boxes, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. It sort of checks both the boxes. So, was Marywood sort of small, kind of culture? Was that a big? Because you said before you kind of wanted to stay local. You knew the coach. So was the comfort level sort of a big factor in deciding to come here? Do you think?
Yeah, I didn't really want to go somewhere huge, like big, you know. I was homeschooled growing up all the way through. So not that didn't make me want to go to like a bigger college, but I wanted something smaller. And with like the running, I didn't want to make it like a full-time job, like with school. I wanted to run, but you know, I didn't want to make it a whole lot. But yeah, I definitely like the smaller atmosphere.
How has that transition been? That's a little interesting, being that you were homeschooled. Has it been pretty easy for you, would you say, or is some things difficult, or what do you think?
The homework was more. I mean, I was able to do more of the stuff on my own, like on time. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that difficult, like getting into it. I really enjoy going to Marywood.
What are your career aspirations in your field? Do you have any big goals or anything?
Definitely become a teacher. That's
any specific school or anything you're thinking about, or
region,
or?
I don't really know. I don't know if I want to stay in the area yet or move. You know, I really like it around here. But I'm not really sure. Just become a teacher right now.
That's a good starting point, I'd say. Early childhood education major. Teaching is the goal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about, and you just said you kind of running is important to you. And you said that you don't want it to be a full-time job for you. So, what are your other interests besides your running? Like, what do you do in your free time?
Well, I really like sports a lot, but that's like not all I do. I have five other siblings beside me, so we do a lot together sometimes.
That's nice.
And like I said, I like sports, so I watch a lot of sports.
Me too.
Play a lot of sports. Play with my brothers, like basketball and baseball and all that stuff.
So you mentioned sports. You got to have a team, right? What are your teams?
For baseball, I like the Yankees.
Me too. Okay, we're off to a good start here.
Yeah. For basketball, I like the San Antonio Spurs. So.
Okay, well, I told you before I'm a Cavs fan, but I don't have anything against the Spurs. So that's okay. Eastern, Western, they don't meet that often, so we're all right there. And the Yankees, definitely, we're seeing eye to eye on that one. Okay. Do you have a favorite athlete? Or a few? You can no limit.
For the Yankees, I like Judge. I like Sanchez. I like all of them. Before Derek Jeter retired, I really liked him.
My favorite.
Yeah. And the Spurs, I really like Kawhi Leonard. He's really good, so I like watching him.
You're a good, like, high effort kind of guy, high intensity. And the Yankee, the creator of our show, John, actually got to talk to Aaron Judge before he made it big.
Oh, wow.
When he worked for the Rail Riders there, he got to talk to him, so that was pretty cool, actually.
That's really neat.
Okay, we're going to transition over now a little bit into you as an athlete. We'll start to get to know what makes you tick as a runner, I guess, more than now that we know about you as a person. So, what draws you to running? Because I feel like, for somebody like me, okay, like, I mean, it's okay, but it's taxing. It's a lot of work. It seems like a grueling sport. So why running?
Well, before I really got into running, I played a lot of baseball and practice all the time. And I just kind of like started getting sick of it. And I decided, I kind of had my sophomore year of high school. I had a really bad ending to the year, and I said then and there, I was like, I want to really get good at this. I'm gonna focus all my attention to this, and really put in the work, get to the top, and it's just something I love doing. I don't know. It might be kind of weird, but I don't know.
Absolutely not. It's your passion.
Yeah, I don't know. Just the reward of putting in all the hard work. Just
Absolutely.
After the race, it feels really good.
All right, well, we have much more to talk about with David right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Right, mi cariño. So like I said, everything I learned about cooking, I learned from Grandma's empanadas. Shall we go again?
Yep.
Mix beef with the onions with the peppers with the paprika the garlic with the oregano with the cumin. Got it?
Got it.
Throw on the olives, stir, season, stir again, pour out the flour, roll out the dough, make a circle, drop in a fistful of filling, fold over, press down, and ta-da!
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Welcome back. We're back for more with David Haines. All right, David, so we were just scratching the surface about you as an athlete and your passion for running and all the hard work you put into it. So tell me a little bit about the work you put into it. How do you get yourself in that great runner's shape?
So after like a track cross-country season, I take a week or two of like not running at all, just let like the body refresh, and then slowly get back into it. So like say at the peak of my season I'm doing like 70 miles a week, I'll start like with 20, you know, just get slowly back into it, maybe run like every other day, and then as like each week build on a little bit more, and that way you don't want to build up too fast because you don't want to like risk injury. So it takes time, but eventually get there.
So it's sort of all just a process. Basically, it all builds on each other pretty much.
Yeah.
What's the first step in terms of conditioning? Because I feel like every sport has conditioning, but your sport basically is conditioning. I mean, so how do you get yourself to that runner's form? Like what do you need to do like behind the scenes kind of, other than just running and building up?
First, well, you have to run, and then usually core. Core is a big part of running also. Strength training, a little bit of lifting. That's about it.
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, it sounds simple, but it's not. So we all know that. Now, I talked to you before. You said you think you're on 19 miles this week?
Yeah, over 2 days so far. So.
Oh, over 2 days.
Yeah.
All right, so that's probably more running than I've done in the past year. So it's definitely more than I've done in the past year. But all right, so it is a grueling sport. You know, I think that's fair to say when you say so.
Yeah.
So what gives you that motivation to go out there and run? Because you kind of know you're about to put yourself through something not enjoyable necessarily, but
yeah. Whenever I'm on the starting line, I'm always questioning myself why I'm running. I don't know. Because just knowing you're gonna go through a lot of pain, I don't know, makes me nervous. But after it's over, I don't know, it's just a really good feeling. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's just, I don't know, it just makes me want to like get better and improve on my time, and I don't know, keep doing it.
So you sort of just touched on that a little bit, but how do you, when you're at that starting line, you know, how do you look at the just daunting task in front of you? Like, do you just visualize the finish line, or do you say like, let's take it little bit by little bit, or?
Well, I usually go into the race with a race plan. My coach always gets me well prepared. So I just try to tell myself, you have to do this. So if I'm trying to run these certain laps at this pace, hit it. Don't tell myself ease up. Just keep hammering it, you know. And I don't know. It's a lot of mental.
I was just gonna say, it seems like the sport's a lot of mental. I feel like a lot of sports are like that too. You can kind of get in your own head a little bit. So
yeah. well, once you like tell yourself I can't do it anymore, you start like giving up. And I guess you kind of go into, I don't know, I call it survival mode, where you just want to finish instead of actually racing and pushing. You just can't wait to get to the finish line. And it's happened to me a couple times, but I know I try as much as possible to focus on what my coaches have set for me to do.
What does it feel like to you when you're running? Like, is it? But some people say, like, you know, it's this great, beautiful thing. Like, they feel like it's so nice and it's like freedom. Like, do you feel like that, or do you feel like, oh my God, like my legs are on fire? Like, what do you feel like?
At times it's really nice, and other times, like I said, I question why I do it. But no, it's good to clear like your mind. You think about a lot of stuff. You know, you're out there for quite a while at times. But yeah, there's definitely times and days where you just, I don't know, rather sleep, stay in bed.
Is there a point where it becomes, like, not easy, but easier? Because, like, I know you're always a little bit out of breath, at least, it's fair to say, but is there a point where you don't become, like, gassed after a race, or?
Not so much racing, but with training, like easy runs, they're, like, you're not going all out, so it's kind of easier. But sometimes for me, actually, like, the farther I get into a run, the better I feel. So, yeah.
So you said it's pretty much a year-round commitment, though, because if is it even after that 2-week period? Is it hard to get back into it, or do you kind of just feel like it's riding a bike, or what do you think?
It's really weird. Once, like, while I'm in the season and I have to go run, I don't want to like go do it. But once I'm off, I like want to go do it.
You need it.
So yeah, it's really weird.
So running, I think, is sort of like almost for a lot of athletes. You know, I mean, it's a passion because, like I said, to put yourself through that sort of almost kind of a torturous sort of an ordeal. So, what makes it worth it for you? Just building on your times or achievements like you had last year, or what makes it really worth it for you?
Yeah, just I want to keep improving. I'm very competitive, and it's something like, it's kind of individually, but it's also team, and you can determine the outcome a lot of times. So I really like that part of it. So.
All right, when we come back, I have some final questions for David. You don't want to go anywhere.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Remember the first time you picked up a basketball in your hands?
Last season, we only scratched the surface in highlighting some of Marywood's most unique student athletes.
Your passion for rugby. Well, who was your influence?
He is a man with a busy schedule.
I'm your host, Nicolo Manzo, and you're watching the Season 2 of Beyond the Arch.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Beyond the Arch as my conversation with David Haines continues. So David, let's go in reverse order just a little bit now, really briefly, and then we want to get into your accomplishments and all that good stuff. So when did you start running? Or when do you start running competitively, I guess is the better question to ask.
I started running 8th grade. I went off for a cross-country team.
Nice. So now, is there one person that you look to as a mentor or someone that you feel as though taught you the sport more than anybody else? Or
Yeah, my coach, my first coach when I started running, he meant a lot. I think he's the one who really got me to like running. So yeah.
Does he still give you pointers and stuff like that, or is he?
Yeah, he does. He's retired now, but yeah, he's still very encouraging.
That's nice. Nice to have that person you can always kind of go to if something you need advice or something like that. But so now we know you run track and cross country. We're talking a lot about cross country, but you're in season now with track too. So, it's both running, and I understand that. But is your approach different to either of them at all, or do you pretty much take the same sort of outlook, or?
For track, it's more speed, shorter distance. So you do a couple more speed workouts. The mileage each week isn't quite as much, so that's the biggest difference than cross country. And you run around in an oval.
Yeah. Do you like the kind of style of running in track better or cross country, like in terms of the just? I feel like track is a little more repetitive, kind of like you said, like with the running around there.
I definitely like cross country better. For me, the longer the distance, the better for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something I'd never say. So we talked about in the bio, you had such great success in high school, and then obviously your season last year speaks for itself in cross country, or really technically this year, but last semester. So it's how do you explain that? Transition, because really, I mean, you went from a successful athlete in high school to just really bursting onto the scene here in college. So how did that happen?
I have to give a lot of credit to my coaches. They have had everything planned out. They have given me great workouts. Have gotten me ready for like all the races and just prepared for everything.
How different do you think the running scene is in college compared to high school? Is there noticeable differences, or?
High school, we raced a lot more, like every week, sometimes twice a week. This past cross-country season, our schedule was really nice. We raced every other weekend. So we got to do a lot more workouts, get a lot more work in, a lot more training. But college, it's a lot more competitive. Everyone wants to run. In high school, you might get those kids that don't really, they're just there to do it.
Right.
Not really dedicated, but yeah.
Do you think your successes in high school sort of prepared you for the success you had in college? Like, did it just sort of set the stage for you? Did it put you like in the right winning sort of mindset, or what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. It all starts with the training. You have to put in the work. Running is one of those things, if you don't put in the work, it's going to show.
Yeah.
But yeah, just coming off high school and being able to compete at the highest level, it was a really good feeling, and I wanted to bring that into college, so definitely wanted to keep working hard.
So something I want to mention, we did have Dr. Gunning here on our season finale last year, and I don't think off the top of my head she mentioned anybody else except for you in terms of that. So you're kind of almost like the face of the athletic department here now. So, she's not only commented on you as an athlete but as a person too. She said, you're both a great person and great athlete. So what does that mean that the athletic director, pretty much as high as you could go, singled you out last year here? What do you think about that?
That means a lot. It's not all about running. I definitely want to be like the best friend, teammate, as I possibly can be, So.
Do you enjoy the spotlight? Do you enjoy the attention that this achievement has gotten you, or?
I guess I'd rather not.
Yeah. You want the achievement though, just maybe not all the. Okay, I got you. Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of athletes are like that. I feel like a lot of athletes are comfortable on the track, but not necessarily maybe in front of a camera or something. So.
Yeah, I'd rather run in front of a lot of people, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's totally understandable. Was there a point in this past season where you really felt like, I could do something special here, or was it just kind of like a build, like you just didn't think about that, or what was it like?
As the season progressed for cross country, my times were getting better, and we went into the regional race, and we figured I had a 50-50 shot at making nationals. So, yeah, it was really exciting that I was actually able to do it. It was something I guess I wasn't really expecting, like coming into the season. So, yeah.
So really quickly, NCAA's, I'm sure it was an amazing experience for you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that whole experience? I mean, first Marywood runner ever, so.
Yeah, it was in Illinois, so you gotta go travel, take a long weekend. That was a lot of fun. Kind of like, felt like being a professional athlete, going from place to place. Just seeing different runners from all over the country was really neat. So yeah, it was a great experience.
All right, well, David, thank you very much. I wish you the best
Thank
of
you.
luck this
Thank
season
you.
and next season. And when we come back, I'll tell you what you can expect on our next episode.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Right, mi cariño. So like I said, everything I learned about cooking, I learned from Grandma's empanadas. Shall we go again?
Yep.
Mix beef with the onions with the peppers with the paprika with the garlic with the oregano with the cumin. Got it?
Got it.
Throw in the olives, stir, season, stir again, pour out the flour, roll out the dough, make a circle, drop in a fistful of filling, fold over, press down, and ta-da!
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. Go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
I want to thank David for coming tonight. We will not be airing a show next week, but be sure to tune in on March 22nd for a look back at the first half of the season. Head over to TV-Marywood's official YouTube page to watch full episodes of the show. Be sure to follow TV-Marywood on Twitter and like us on Facebook. From everyone at TV-Marywood, have a great night.